Most people think that once they cross a certain income number, everything will finally settle down. They imagine that after hitting $20,000 in savings, income, or business revenue, whatever that number represents in their world, life will suddenly become stable, predictable, and calm. But what almost nobody tells you is that something strange happens around that level. The stress doesn't disappear. It evolves. The pressure doesn't shrink. It shifts, and sometimes, if you're not mentally prepared, it actually grows stronger. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Money changes your environment faster than it changes your psychology. If you spent years worrying about bills, calculating grocery totals in your head, or hesitating before buying something small, your brain has been trained for scarcity. It has adapted to survival mode. So when you suddenly move into a new income bracket or accumulate a noticeable amount like $20,000, your external world may look different, but your internal wiring doesn't instantly update. You might have more financial breathing room, yet still feel anxious checking your bank balance. You might technically be safer, yet emotionally remain on edge. That mismatch creates tension. There's also the invisible shift in expectations. Before $20,000, your goal was simple. Get there. After $20,000, the goal becomes unclear. Now you start asking different questions. Should I invest it? Should I scale my business? Should I upgrade my lifestyle? Should I protect it? The simplicity of just survive is replaced by the complexity of what now? And complexity can feel heavier than struggle because it demands responsibility. When you reach a milestone like $20,000, whether in savings or revenue, you also become more aware of opportunity cost. Earlier, most decisions were constrained by lack of options. You couldn't invest much, couldn't diversify much, couldn't experiment much. Now you can. And ironically, more options often create more anxiety. Behavioral psychology calls this the paradox of choice. The more doors it open, the more mental energy it takes to decide which one to walk through. That decision fatigue can quietly drain you. Another subtle shift happens in your identity. Before, you may have seen yourself as someone trying to make it. After crossing that mark, you start seeing yourself as someone who has something to lose. That is a powerful emotional transition. The fear of losing money you've worked hard to accumulate can sometimes be stronger than the desire to earn more. Loss aversion is a deeply rooted human bias. Research shows that psychologically, losses hurt roughly twice as much as gains feel good. So even if you're objectively better off, your brain may now be hyper-focused on protecting what you have, which can increase stress instead of reducing it. Social pressure can intensify as well. Once your income or savings reach a visible level, people's expectations often change. Family members might assume you're more capable of helping financially. Friends might expect a higher lifestyle standard. You may even pressure yourself to look successful in subtle ways, such as upgrading your phone, car, clothes, or home environment. Lifestyle inflation doesn't usually arrive as a dramatic decision. It creeps in through small upgrades that feel justified. Each upgrade adds a recurring cost, and recurring costs add mental weight. There is also the trap of comparison. At lower income levels, you often compare yourself to those slightly ahead of you. But after reaching $20,000, you start seeing people at $50,000, $100,000, or more. The benchmark shifts upward. Instead of feeling accomplished, you may feel behind again. The target keeps moving. This phenomenon is known as hedonic adaptation, the tendency to quickly return to a baseline level of satisfaction despite positive changes. The excitement of reaching your goal fades, and your brain normalizes the new level. Another important factor is responsibility. With more money comes more decisions. Taxes become more relevant. Investment choices matter more. Risk management becomes a real consideration. If you're running a business and hit $20,000 in revenue, now you're thinking about scaling, hiring, reinvesting, or stabilizing cash flow. Each of those paths carries uncertainty. Uncertainty creates mental strain, especially for people who equate money with safety. But here is where everything can change in a healthier way, if you approach it consciously. The turning point isn't the number itself. It's the mindset you attach to it. Instead of viewing $20,000 as a finish line, you can see it as proof of capability. Instead of seeing it as something fragile that must be guarded at all costs, You can see it as a tool that gives you options. Options are powerful when used intentionally. This is where behavior becomes more important than income. If your habits are reactive, emotional, or driven by comparison, no amount will feel enough. If your habits are deliberate, value-driven, and grounded in long-term thinking, even moderate income can create stability. Financial stress often comes not from the number in your account, but from the uncertainty in your decisions. Clarity reduces stress more effectively than raw income increases. Practically, this means slowing down when you hit milestones instead of accelerating impulsively. It means resisting the urge to dramatically upgrade your lifestyle just because you can. It means building systems like an emergency buffer, simple investment strategies, or automated savings that reduce the need for constant emotional decision-making. Automation lowers cognitive load. Lower cognitive load lowers stress. It also means redefining what progress actually means. Progress is not just earning more. Progress is feeling more in control. It's being able to handle unexpected expenses without panic. It's sleeping better because you're not calculating worst-case scenarios at midnight. It's having the confidence to say no to financial pressures that don't align with your values. If you find that everything feels more intense after crossing $20,000, that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're entering a new psychological stage. Growth always introduces new forms of responsibility. The key is to grow your emotional framework alongside your income. Learn about your biases. Notice your reactions. Observe whether your decisions are driven by fear of loss, desire for status, or genuine long-term vision. Over time, you may realize something profound. Financial peace is less about hitting a specific number and more about building a stable internal relationship with money. When you understand your patterns, when you create simple structures, and when you align spending with values instead of impulse, the number becomes less emotionally charged. So yes, everything changes after $20,000. The decisions change, the risks change, the opportunities change. But the most important change can be internal. If you treat that milestone not as proof that you must now perform at a higher level for everyone else, but as evidence that you are capable of steady progress, the pressure softens. You stop chasing numbers for validation and start using money as a tool for stability. And that's the quiet shift that truly reduces financial stress. Not the size of the number, but the steadiness of the mind managing it.